You can take this opportunity to find your way onto your mat. Lowering onto your back and settling into your Shavasana. Beginning each practice, finding a little bit of stillness, a little bit of peace on your mat. Taking it as an opportunity to let go of any tension or stressors that may have built up throughout your day. Send your feet out wide to the bottom corners of the mat. Release through the ankles and the toes grow heavy. Find softness through the legs, the hips, the glutes. And allow your back body to grow heavy on your mat. Tuck the shoulder blades beneath you, creating a sense of openness through the chest and the collarbones, the throat. The arms out wide at your sides, let the palms face up, releasing all effort from the arms and hands. A gentle tuck brings length up the back of the neck, drawing the chin in towards your chest. The gaze becomes soft, whether the eyes are opened or closed. As you lie here on your back, just become aware of the body breathing. Noticing the air as it moves in and out through the nose. That gentle rise and fall of belly and chest with every breath. Each breath in creating a sense of openness, spaciousness through the body. And each breath out, really grounding you here on your mat and in this moment of time. With the arms and legs still engulfed in stillness, still heavy on the earth, start to turn the gaze over to the right side of the room, bringing the right ear down onto the mat. Create some space into the left side of your neck, rounding down through the left shoulder. Bring the gaze back through center and then over to the left. Left ear is heavy on the mat. Creating space at the right side of your neck. Bring your gaze back through center. Start to awaken the body by wiggling the fingers and the toes. Find some rotations to the wrists and the ankles. Getting out any creaks or cracks that may have developed through your neck. Rotating the opposite direction. Slide the feet together at the bottom of the mat. Draw the knees in towards your chest, giving them a hug. As you start, draw the knees in towards the chest. Let the pelvis lift up off of the mat, curling into a tight ball. Keep the knees drawn in as much as you're able as you start to press down through the pelvis into the mat. Working towards lengthening the spine, rooting down through all four corners of the pelvis. Continuing to draw the knees in towards your chest with each breath out. You can stay here in stillness, or you can start to rock from side to side, massaging the low back. Find stillness in the center. Draw the right knee in towards your chest, extend through the left leg, reaching the left heel long on your mat. Toes of the left foot point up to the ceiling as you reach through the left heel. And hug the right knee in towards your chest. You can stay here in the center, or you can send the left foot to the bottom left corner of the mat. And then start to shift the right knee towards the outer edge of the right shoulder, creating some distance between the pinky toe edge of the left foot and the point of your right knee. Really ground down through the left hip. You can also place the left hand on the left hip and encourage it down into the mat. With the left hand on the left hip, encourage stillness in that area as you start to take gentle rotations through the right leg. Find stillness through the left hip, the left thigh, the left side of your waist. Really isolating the movement to the right hip. Rotate in the opposite direction, pausing in any areas that you maybe feel a little more tension. Offer it a breath and then moving on. The next time the right knee comes through center, pause there. Slide the left foot back through center. Take hold of the right knee in the left hand. Extend the right arm long at your side. Big breath in to lengthen. On an exhale, twist right leg over to the left. The gaze could stay at the ceiling or come over to the right side. Option to place a pillow or a block beneath the right knee. Breathing space into the lower right belly. Gaze comes back through center. The right knee will follow. Hug the right knee in towards your chest one more time. And then lower the sole of the right foot onto the mat. Ground down through the right foot, belly button draws in towards the spine to activate your core. Reaching through the left heel, start to reach the left foot up towards the ceiling. You can take hold of the back of the left thigh. You can use a strap if you like to add length to your arms. Really reach through the left heel, draw the toes towards your face. The deep flex in the left ankle. Ground down through the left hip as you start to draw the left thigh a little bit closer towards your belly. Looking for a bit of a stretch into the back of the left hamstring. Think about sending the left hip crease, so that area where the fleshy bit of your left thigh meets your pelvis. Send the hip crease away from the shoulders and down into the mat as you draw the left leg in. You can take a few gentle rotations through the left ankle, pointing and flexing through the toes in both directions. Next time you find a flexed ankle, turn the toes of the left foot to face the left side wall. Bend the left knee, let the pinky toe edge of the left foot land on the right thigh. Coming into thread the needle pose or recline pigeon. Send the left knee away from the shoulders. Equal weight in both left and right hips here. If you're still not feeling a stretch into the hip or into the glute, start to draw the right knee in towards the right shoulder, taking hold of the back of the right thigh or maybe even the shin. Just making sure that you're able to rest the shoulders softly on the floor. Keep your chin tucked in slightly towards the chest, maintaining length up the entire length of your neck. As much as you draw the right knee in, you should be reaching the left knee away from the shoulders, those counterbalances. Just a few more breaths here on this side. And slowly lower the right foot onto the floor. Keep the left foot just as it is. With that figure four shape in the legs, start to walk the right foot slightly over to the right side of the mat. From here, we're going to tip over onto the inner arch of the right foot, bringing the inseam of the right pant leg towards the floor and tipping the knees to the left. The left foot will likely slide a little bit onto the top now of the right thigh. Maybe a little closer to the outer edge of it. Just use that left foot as a little bit of added weight, sending the right knee down towards the mat without being forceful. Think about driving the tailbone forward. So it's as if the tailbone is lifting up and over to the left slightly as you send the right knee down to the mat. Gaze is at the ceiling or over to the right. Breathe space into the right side body with each breath. Just noticing where it is that you're feeling the tension. Sending the breath there, and on the exhale, inviting the tension to ease off a little bit. Let your gaze come back through center. The knees will follow. Release the left foot onto the mat, nice and wide on the mat, same as the right. Just take a gentle side-to-side motion with the knees like windshield wipers, releasing that first side. Slide the feet to the bottom corners of the mat, arms out at your sides. Take a mini shavasana. Without judgment, without attachment, just noticing any subtle changes from side to side. Slide your feet together at the bottom of the mat. Bring the knees in towards your chest, give them a hug. Lengthening through the spine with each breath in, and hugging the knees in close with each breath out. Using the wave of your breath in your belly to find subtle movement with each inhale and each exhale. Transition the grip over to just the left knee and extend the right leg long to the bottom of your mat. Reach through the right heel, creating length from the right heel to the top of your head as you draw the left knee in close. Stay active through the right leg, the muscles squeezing in towards the bone. With a straight leg, think about drawing the right kneecap up towards the right hip. Continuing to press down through the right heel with the toes drawn towards your face. You can stay here in stillness or start to send the right foot to the bottom right corner of your mat. Shift the left knee towards the outer edge of the left shoulder. And choose if you'd like to keep the hands interlaced on the left leg. Or hold the left knee and just the left hand. Release the right hand onto the right hip, encouraging it down into the mat. Stay here in stillness or with the right hip pressed down into the mat, start to take gentle rotations with the left knee. Moving a little bit slower than your body naturally wants to. Moving in the opposite direction. Next time the left knee comes through center, pause there. Slide the right foot back through center as well. And hug the left knee in once more. The left knee in the right hand, release the left arm at your side. Lengthen first and then find your twist. Send the left leg across your body over to the right. Option to use a prop of any kind beneath the left knee for some support. Gazes to the ceiling or over to the left. Gaze comes back through center. Left knee will follow, hug it in. And let the sole of the left foot find the floor. Belly button draws down towards the spine. Draw the lower ribs in as well. Active through the core as you reach the right foot up towards the ceiling. You can interlace behind the right thigh, send the right hip deep into your mat as you reach the right heel to the ceiling. Feel the thigh muscle, the back of the thigh and the hamstring engage. Every breath in, lengthening not just the spine from the tailbone to the top of the head, but also the entire right leg. So from the right hip all the way up to the right heel. Every breath out, you can apply a little bit of pressure to the back of your right thigh, maybe drawing the toes slightly closer towards the floor behind you. Stay in stillness, or you can take some gentle rotations through the right ankle. In both directions. Next time the ankle is flexed, pause there. Turn the toes to face the right side of the room, bend through the right knee. Pinky toe edge of the right foot lands on the left thigh. Send the right knee away from the shoulders. Square up your hip, so that may mean sending the left hip away from the shoulders, right hip slightly towards it. Stay there, or start to draw the left knee in towards the left shoulder. Just pausing where you feel a stretch. If you're holding onto the back of the left thigh, maybe you're holding onto the left shin. It doesn't really matter. As much as the left knee is drawn in towards the left shoulder, the right knee is reaching away from the right shoulder. Keep a deep flex in the right ankle, draw the right toes towards the right shin, but the left ankle, if it's lifted, can be soft. Slowly lower the left foot onto the mat if it's lifted. You're going to walk the left foot over slightly to the left, the right foot still on the left thigh. And then tip the knees over to the right, so bring the inseam of the left pant leg towards the floor, the outer edge of the right knee towards the floor. It's okay if they do not touch. You can always put a block or a pillow there. Think about driving the tailbone forward as you send the left knee down to the mat. Whichever arm variation feels good in your body, an option to turn the gaze to the left. Creating space through your entire left body with every breath. Feel the left ribs expanding away from the left hip with each breath in. Softening with each breath out. Gaze comes back through center. the knees follow. Release the right foot to the bottom of your mat, or the edge of your mat. The knees are bent, just a gentle windshield wiper side to side, releasing any tension that you may have developed. Letting go of any effort. And then heel toe the feet towards one another. Let the soles of the feet come to touch. The knees fall open like a book, creating a diamond shape with the legs. Maybe you choose to place one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Just witness the body breathing. The gentle rise and fall of belly and chest. Surrendering the legs to gravity, letting go of all effort in them. Stay here a little longer if you like. You can draw the knees towards one another with or without the help of your hands. Bring the right arm up overhead and roll over onto your right side body. You can use the right arm as a pillow. Let the left palm rest softly on the floor or on your thigh. Draw the knees in close towards your chest. Send your breath into the back body. Close your eyes. Just taking a few breaths here in this transitional pose, this restful pose. Taking your time before moving on with our practice. Feel ready in your own time. Find your way up to a tabletop position. From your tabletop, let the shoulders be above the wrists, the hips above the knees. Just take a few gentle sways from side to side. Really let the head fall heavy here. Letting go of any effort in the neck. Bringing one shoulder to your hip and then the other. Just creating a fluid-like side-by-side swaying motion. Find stillness in the center. In a neutral spine, we'll move through a few cat and cows. On an inhale, lift the tailbone, let your belly drop. Heart comes forward, gaze comes up. On the exhale, tuck the tailbone, round the spine, chin to chest, gaze to belly button. Inhale, lift the tailbone, belly drops, heart comes forward, gaze comes up. Exhale, rounded spine, tuck the tailbone, chin to chest, gaze to your belly button. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale. Exhale. Big breath in. Find your neutral spine for a moment. We're going to turn the hands backwards. So turn the fingers to face the knees, palms on the floor. Just checking in here, making sure that the shoulders are above the wrists. This may be a lot for a lot of people, so if you like, you can come out at any time. With the shoulders over the wrists, the hips over the knees, and the hands on backwards. We're We're going to move through a few cat and cows, just moving very mindfully and gently. Big breath in, lift the tailbone, let the belly drop, heart comes forward, gaze comes up. Exhale, rounded spine, find your cat-like back. Tuck your tailbone and gaze to the belly button, really pressing down through the palms of your hands. Inhale, count. Exhale, cat. So maybe you decide to just do normal cat and cows with the hands the proper way. Or maybe you choose to find stillness in your tabletop with the hands on backwards. Working on stretching out through the wrists and the forearms. The area that holds a lot of tension for a lot of people. Either way, moving through just a few more cat and cows at your own rhythm of breath. Taking one more cycle in both directions. Find some stillness in your tabletop. Again, option to find a normal tabletop. Have the palms facing the floor, fingertips pointing to your knees. Shoulders over wrists, or you can start to shift a little bit of weight back towards your heels. So the smaller of an angle you have in the wrist here, the more of a stretch you're going to be feeling through the front of the wrist and up the forearm. So you can sink your hips back towards your heels, really pressing down through the heels of the palms. Or if that's too much, you can always shift a little bit of weight forward. Another option is to come up on hands and knees and simply press the hands down for that wrist stretch. Working on one side and then the other. One more big breath here. Shift some weight forward if you've sent it back. Return the hands to their normal position. Maybe coming to sit on the heels and just rotating out those wrists. Rotating in the opposite direction. We use our hands, our wrists a lot at work. And can start to build up a lot of tension. We have a lot of risk of carpal tunnel. That's just a good stretch to help bring some movement back into that joint. Return to your tabletop position. We're going to let the big toes come to touch. The knees go wide apart. Shift your hips back towards the heels. Slide the fingertips away for a child's pose. Let the forehead rest on something. So maybe that's onto a block or onto a pillow. Just let the head feel supported. Fingertips are spread wide and sliding away from the pelvis as you sink the hips down low to the heels. Without actually moving the hands, think about drawing the hands closer to the heels, using them to lengthen through the spine. And we're going to come up through tabletop. Bring the left palm a little bit closer towards the center of the mat beneath your face. Bring the weight into the left palm. As you inhale, we're going to reach the right fingertips high towards the ceiling, maybe even gaze up towards them. On an exhale, thread the right arm through the space between the left arm and the legs. Send the right shoulder down onto the mat. Press down through the left palm, reach up once again towards the ceiling with the right, opening your heart up to the right side of the room. Exhale, thread it through. Right arm spreading beneath the left, over to the left side of the room. Big breath in, press down through the left palm, reach the right fingertips high. Exhale, thread it through. This time we're going to land there on our mat. So the right arm sliding over to the left side of the room, palm faces up as the right shoulder lowers onto the mat. top right corner of the head lands on the mat as well. Square up the hips to the best of your ability. And the option to keep the left hand just as it is, or slide the left arm long in front of you, gazing under the left armpit. Another option, if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, is to bring the left hand, place the back of the left hand on your low back, maybe even reaching around for your right thigh. Really opening up your chest towards the left side of the room. Press down through the entire length of the right arm. You're holding the pose but not the breath. Just noticing how in some of these compressed positions it can be more challenging to find that long, slow rhythm of breath. Release the left hand to the mat if it's not already there. Press down through the left palm, reach up with the right. And exhale, lower the right hand to take the left hand's place on the mat. Grounding down through the right hand. Big breath in, reach the left fingertips high. Stacking the shoulders one on top of the other. And exhale, thread the left arm through. Big breath in, press down through the right palm, left fingertips reach high. Exhale, thread it through. One more time, big breath in, press down through the right, lift up through the left, creating length in the arms. Exhale, thread it through. This time we're going to land the pose. So slide the left arm over to the right side. Lower the left shoulder onto the mat in the top left corner of your head. Just choose the arm variation that works best for the right arm. So maybe that's extending the fingertips long. Maybe you're reaching the back of the right hand onto your lower back or reaching around for your left thigh. Really grounding down through the entire length of your left arm. As the left fingertips draw over to the right, the left shoulder is drawn back into its joint, resisting that pull. Release the right hand onto the mat if it's not already there. Press down through the right palm. Reach the left fingertips high to the ceiling. And exhale, lower it onto the mat. Landing in your tabletop, again, just a little sway from side to side. Let that go. Head falls heavy. Find stillness in your tabletop. Walk the knees back a couple of inches. Find a modified plank. Belly button draws in towards the spine. Let the elbows graze the ribs as you lower down to your mat with control. Landing on your belly. Palms are on the mat beneath the shoulders. Fingertips a little bit beyond the shoulders. Draw the elbows in towards the ribs. Press down through the tops of your feet. Reach through the big toes. Take a big breath in as you lengthen through the spine. Lift up the collarbones. 1 or 2 ribs lifts off the mat. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Cobra pose. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Exhale, lower. One more time, we're going to inhale to lengthen, lift up the collarbones, a few ribs off of the mat. And we're going to hold the pose here. Holding your cobra, but not the breath. Pressing down through the tops of your feet and reaching through the big toes, so much so that the knees are lifted. If you have low back sensitivity, creating some space between the feet may help with that. Keep the elbows drawn in, but the collarbones drawn wide apart, staying open through the chest and the front of your throat. Little to no weight in the hands here. You should be able to lift them up off of the mat slightly. Slowly exhale, lower down. Press through the palms, come up through tabletop. And send your hips back towards your heels for a narrow-legged child's pose. You can have as much space as you need between the thighs to support your belly. But keep your knees as narrow as you're able. Let the forehead rest on the floor and send the arms back towards your heels. So we want to have the knees a little more narrow here just to create space for the arms to come back. Let the forehead rest on something as you release through the shoulder blade, through the upper back. You can always bring the bum onto a pillow or a block for some added support if you like. We're going to keep the right hand just as it is, back at the right foot. Extend the left arm long in front of you towards the end of your mat. So the right arm is reaching for the toes, the left arm is reaching beyond the head. From here, start to walk the left fingertips over towards the right side of your mat. Keep drawing the left shoulder down towards the mat. And create length up your left side body. The left hip is reaching towards the left heel. Every few breaths, maybe you're able to walk those left fingertips a little bit beyond the right edge of the mat. Breathing space into the left ribs, the left waist. Once you feel the tension ease off, you're able to maybe walk a little bit further. But keep reaching the left hip towards the left side of the room and back towards the heel. Come back through center with the left hand. Let the left hand reach back towards the feet again. And take a breath in the neutral. Let it go. Left fingertips reaching towards the left toes. Reach the right hand out long in front of you. Both left and right hips stay reaching for the heels as you start to walk the right hand over to the left. Right hip stays rooted. Keep the right shoulder drawn away from the right ear. Every few breaths, maybe you're able to walk the right hand a little more over to the left and send the right hip to the right and back towards your heel. Think about drawing the right armpit down towards the mat as well, without lifting the left. Back through center. This time we'll let the left hand reach out long to meet the right. Take one big breath in center to neutralize. And find your way up to tabletop. take a few sways from side to side. We'll come to land in a seated position with the legs extended long in front of us. With the legs extended out long in front, you may want to lift up your hips and slide your glutes from beneath you. It'll just allow you to sit up a little bit taller. And you can use your hands behind you as well to lengthen through the spine as you draw the toes in towards your face. Flexed at the ankles. Maintain that tall spine as you inhale, reach up. On an exhale, fold forward. Keep the straight back, releasing the hands onto the knees, the shins, the ankles, whatever is accessible. Just avoiding that cat-like back. Think about drawing the tailbone away from the top of your head. And rather than touching your forehead to your shins, think about reaching the belly button beyond the knees, the heart beyond the ankles, and the forehead beyond the toes. You can have a micro bend in the knees to help protect the joints, but working towards straightening the legs so that you feel a bit of a stretch into the hamstrings here. If you start to notice it in your low back area, it could mean that you're starting to round. Ease off, come out a little bit. You want to feel this into the back of the thighs and not into the low back. Start to slide your hands back up, rising up. Give the legs a bit of a wiggle. Maybe pointing and flexing the toes. Rotating in opposite directions. And find some stillness. Keep the left leg extended long. We're going to bend through the right knee, bring the sole of the right foot onto the floor. Lift up the right foot, let the pinky toe edge land on the left thigh. Send the right knee open towards the right side of the room, so it's as if you're creating that figure four shape with your legs again. Equal weight on both left and right hips as you send the right knee down towards the mat. You want to be sitting up tall here. And if you're not feeling a stretch into the right hip or right glute area, you can start to bend through the left knee. So as I bend through my left knee, you'll notice that I lean back into my imaginary reclining chair. That's okay as long as you're able to sit back up tall afterwards. You want the shoulders stacked roughly above the hips here. Equal weight on all four corners of the left foot, so we're not tipping over onto the pinky toe edge here. And keep reaching the right knee away from the right shoulder. If you're still not feeling a stretch, and again, just pausing where you're feeling a stretch. There's no real end goal to this. It's just finding a level that works for you. So if you're still not feeling a stretch here, you can move into what's called double pigeon by walking the left foot over to the right, lowering the left knee onto the mat, and stacking the right knee on top of the left ankle, bringing the shins to stack like fire logs, one on top of the other. If the shins are stacked and there's no gap between the right knee and the left foot, you can start to fold forward over your legs. So again, just finding the level of seated pigeon in which you yourself feel a stretch. As long as you're feeling a stretch into the right hip, the right glute, that's far enough for you. Remembering to sit up tall, regardless of your pose. If you're folding forward, do so with a flat back. A deep flex in the right ankle will help protect the right knee joint. Just notice if you're sinking weight into your right hip. Can you even out the weight from left to right sides? If you're all the way in double pigeon, you can start to find your way back up, bringing the left foot onto the floor. And if your left foot is on the floor, you can extend it long to the bottom of the mat. Reach through the left heel. Take the right knee in the left hand and lift it up, sending the sole of the right foot onto the mat. So the right foot's now on the outside, the outer left side of the left leg. Inhale, reach up nice and high. As you exhale, take the left hand or left arm around the right leg. Reach the right hand behind you. Find a twist, gazing over the right shoulder. Work on lengthening through the spine first, and then work on deepening your twist. Slowly release, come back through center, maybe even a counter twist in the opposite direction for one breath. Return through center. Extend the right leg to meet the left, give the legs a wiggle. Pointing and flexing through the toes, drawing circles with the ankles in both directions. Sit up tall, we'll move to the opposite side, bending the left knee first. Bring the sole of the foot onto the floor. And then lifting up the left foot, placing the pinky toe edge on the right thigh. Sending the left knee down towards the mat. It's okay if it doesn't touch. And if you have knee sensitivity, sometimes it can feel nice to put a block or a pillow beneath it. A deep flex in the left ankle. Equal weight both left and right sides, and you're sitting up tall. And if you're still not feeling a stretch into the hip and glute area, option to bend the right knee and come back up to sitting up tall. As you sit up tall, the left knee is reaching away from you. If you're still not feeling a stretch, you can start to heel toe the right foot over to the left. Lower the right knee onto the mat and stack the shins one on top of the other. Lengthen through the spine, option to fold forward over the shins. Giving yourself permission to come out at any time if you've gone too far and you have some regrets. Only you know what you're feeling in your body, so only you can make those subtle adjustments. Letting go of your ego and being okay with whatever pose you feel the stretch in, rather than working towards a particular image of a pose. If you're all the way down in double pigeon folded forward, you can start to find your way up, bringing the sole of the right foot onto the floor. And if the right foot is on the floor, you can extend the right leg long, flex through the right ankle. Take the left knee, draw it up through center, lowering the left foot onto the mat on the outside of the right leg. Sit up tall, big breath in as you reach up. On the exhale, take the right hand or right arm to the left leg, hug it in. Reach the left hand behind you, gaze over the left shoulder for your twist. Lengthen first, and then deepen your twist. Slowly come back through center, maybe a counter twist in the opposite direction for just one breath. Come back through center. Extend the left leg long to meet the right, give them a wiggle. Draw some circles with your ankles. And we'll come to lower onto our mats, lying on our back, the knees bent to begin. The knees bent, walk the feet to the edges of the mat, let the knees tip into touch. Take whatever arm variation feels good. I also love incorporating this pose into a practice. It's just a means to release the low back into the mat. Letting go of any tension that may have developed in that area. This is always a great alternative to Shavasana if you have low back sensitivities. We're going to heel toe the feet towards one another. Just reach for either a yoga block, a pillow, or a yoga bolster if you happen to have one. We're going to go into a supported bridge pose first. So whatever prop you have nearby, maybe it's a pillow folded in half, maybe it's a rolled up towel. We're going to press down through the hips, or rather press down through the feet, lift the hips up and slide the prop beneath your pelvis. Lowering the pelvis back down onto the prop for a supported bridge. So you just want a little bit of height here for the pelvis. Releasing through the belly. Shoulder blades tucked beneath you. Find a sense of openness through your chest. Breathing space into your belly. Softening through the back, through the glutes. Letting your prop do the work for you. Now you can stay here in your supported bridge if you like, or we'll move into what's called waterfall or legs up the wall. By drawing the knees in towards your chest one by one, and then extending them high towards the ceiling with a flex in the ankles. Now you may have to lift your hips up and adjust your prop so that you're comfortable here. If you're using a block, just finding a point where there's no gouging edges. And just allow the feet to reach up towards the ceiling. This legs up the wall pose is always a great one to do at the end of your day if you suffer from insomnia, trouble sleeping, after a long day at work. You can find your way up against an actual literal wall and let the feet rise up against it for support, using a pillow beneath your bum on your bed. Just letting the blood flow passively back to the heart. Find that gentle tuck in the chin, lengthening up the back of your neck, maybe even closing the eyes. Returning your focus, your point of awareness to the breath as it moves in and out through the nose. Taking a big breath in through the nose, let the belly rise up. And exhale, belly softens and falls. Big breath into the belly. Exhale, belly softens. One more time, big breath into the belly. Breath out, belly softens down to the mat. This time we'll transition the breath into the chest. So on a big inhale, feel your chest expanding in all directions. As you breathe out, let that go. Big breath in, chest expanding in all directions. Slow breath out. Chest contracts back in towards the midline. One last big breath into the chest. And exhale, let it go. Returning to your natural rhythm of breath. its natural flow. Now you can choose to have legs up the wall be your final resting pose. That's perfectly okay. It's an excellent way to round out your practice. Otherwise, you can one by one start to bend the knees, draw them in towards your chest. And let your feet find the floor. Lift the hips up and slide your prop away. Releasing the feet to the bottom corners of your mat. Finding some stillness there. Just noticing any sensations you may be feeling in the body in this moment. Without attachment, judgment. Sending your breath to all of the fingers and all of the toes, and each of the tissues between. Finding a sense of openness, spaciousness, and energy into the body with each breath in. And releasing any last remaining tension you may be holding onto with each breath out. The limbs becoming heavier and heavier on the mat with every breath. This space, this practice of breath can continue to be yours for as long as you choose to allow it to be. When it is time to get up and go, do so slowly and mindfully. Taking with you a little bit of the sense of calm that you cultivated on your mat, and with you into the rest of your day, your evening, and your week. With such gratitude for you joining me in practice as always. Namaste.